Do you feel a little bit more job security when you take a short-term fight, like you're doing a favor for the UFC, or do you feel like it's just a fight, regardless?
I guess I would feel secure if this was like my real job. It's weird. This is still, it's fun to me. I don't look at it like work. I'd be like asking my 5-year-old, is it going to be hard for you to go to Disneyland? Nah. So, I mean, honestly, taking a short notice fight, I don't know, I almost kind of take it as a compliment as far as Dana and Joe are probably sitting around, if they sit around in their corporate jet or their Ferrari or eating sushi or whatever those guys do. They're like, we need a guy that wants to fight. Circumstances aren't ideal, but hey, we'll call this guy. And that guy happened to be me. And so I'm like, hey, at least they thought about me. So in a way, I guess, yeah, it's kind of earning brownie points, but I mean, like I said, it's not like you're punishing me with something I love to do.
In a close fight. What do you think? What do you attribute that to?
O ano passado você teve um ano um pouco difícil. Você teve uma derrota e você teve uma luta muito dura. Por que tu acha que foi assim?
Yes, I think in the UFC, the guys came with a high level, and we think I have to train more, and I've been training a lot of wrestling. I think I'm going to improve more the UFC rules because there's different rules from Pride. I think they use more wrestling, they use more cage. I have to train in the cage. I've been training with the cage for the last 4 months. I think my game in the cage is better now.
How disappointed are you that you're not going to fight Tito?
Como você está chateado que você não vai lutar contra o Tito?
Yeah, I'm. When I received the news, I was very disappointed, but I think we're here with top 10, like the best guys. We have to fight with the best guys, and so I think Phil Davis is undefeated. He's a high level. I think I'm here just to fight with who he's gonna put to fight.
You guys want to get in there?
The last fight was on you. You guys banged each other up a lot. You know you're probably going to come out of this fight hurt, banged up, injured, whatever. What is that like for a fighter's mindset? I'd be thinking, I want an easy fight, not something like this.
Like my mindset every time I go into a fight and my preparation for a fight is to get ready for war. Not just because I like those type of fights. It's just that's my fighting style. I've always been the guy in the gym that gets in trouble for trying to suck a guy into a brawl. And, I've worked on a couple of different things this time around, and I feel really good, really confident. I think my kickboxing game has improved since the last time we fought. And I think the last fight was harder on him than it was on me physically. So I'm just eager to see which guy comes out.
Is there any pressure to put on another fight like that? You know, people always say like, you know, Bonner Griffin 2 wasn't that great.
You think back to some of the rematches that lived up to the first one. I don't put that pressure on myself. I think that if I try to go out there and make a war, just like the last one, it won't play out. So, we're wired the same, me and him. If you hit him, he wants to hit you back. You hit me, I want to hit you back. So I think if we just go out there and play each other's game, we'll fall right into each other's traps.
We were talking about obviously the challenges of this camp, and continuously prepping for somebody different. What's that experience been like for you?
Yeah, the placement fighters is part of the game. I've been injured myself, I had to pull out, so it's one of the things that happens, part of the sport. But one of the cool things I liked about being on Ultimate Fighter was it kind of prepares you for that. You're used to fighting people on a couple days' notice, so it's just kind of part of the game. Ideally, you're just training for yourself. You're training to get better. You're training your strengths. So the person you fight is a little inconsequential.
Are you the kind of guy that does game plan for your opponent though, or have you had to change things every time this thing switches?
Not really. I'm not going to say I definitely like to be familiar with who I'm fighting and what they're good at and what they're not. But for the most part, I don't pour over tape. I don't like to obsess and think I know exactly what's going to happen because I don't. So you just got to be prepared as you can and just be prepared for all situations.
Well, DeMarcus obviously taking this fight on short notice. He told us a little earlier that he took it on short notice because it was you. If there was somebody else, maybe he wouldn't have. Does that when you hear something like that? I know, yeah. When you hear something like that, how does that make you feel? Or, how do you feel about that?
Was he mad? No, it sounded like he was mad. No, I mean, it's pretty cool. I'm gonna step up in 2 weeks, so yeah, I'm excited to be able to fight. Yeah, of course, it would have been definitely would have been a letdown if I had to, just have no fight. So for sure, any fight is a good fight.
Well, Anthony, fight week, man. It's been a while for you. How does it feel to be back in the mix here, ready to fight?
It feels great. I feel really good. I haven't had any complaints with this training camp so far, so I'm good. I'm happy.
The one question that everybody's going to ask you is, what do you weigh? So we might as well get that one out of there.
Everybody want to know what I weigh.
Everybody wants to know what you weigh, basically. So what do you weigh?
You got to see tomorrow. I'll make y'all wait. I'll make you wait. I like the talk.
I was gonna say, throughout your career, man, a lot of obviously that's been an issue, and so people make it like the only issue with you. Do you think that that's fair because of what's happened to you, or do you think that people are being disrespectful by being concerned?
People are gonna do what they want to do anyway, so I don't care what they say. Say what you want. I'm gonna still do me.
You feel confident, obviously, that 170 is no problem for you tomorrow?
No, it's not a problem.
Then you say you like this training camp. Has it been kind of business as usual for you, or are you doing anything new this time around?
Same old me. Same person you saw last time I had a fight. Just uglier. That's it.
And talk about Hardy. Obviously you guys, it looks like it's going to be a fun fight. I don't see how it couldn't be exciting. But, where does he threaten you? Are there any areas that you're worried about?
Man, in my eyes, anything Hardy does, I can do better. You know what I mean? But he is a threat. He has a deadly left hook and a deadly straight right. His kicks are good. His stand-up is phenomenal. You know what I mean? Just because he got knocked out by Carlos Condit his last fight doesn't mean anything. Everybody gets caught. You know what I mean? Sooner or later, your time will come. And Dan, he's a scary guy. But am I afraid of him? No. But am I confident against him? Yeah. But am I going to fight smart? Hell yeah. You know what I mean? But we are going to go in there and do what everybody expects us to do, and that's get down and throw blows. That's what me and him are made to do. We're made to throw punches and trade and give fans what they want. He's an exciting fighter. I know I'm an exciting fighter, so we're going to bring it.
How do you feel coming to this fight? A lot of people are focusing on the psychology of you coming off that first knockout loss, how you're going to approach it, how you're going to be in the cage. How do you feel, and how do you think you're going to react?
I feel great. The way I see it, over my career, I've probably knocked out 200 or 300 people. That was the first time I've been knocked out, so my odds are pretty good, If I've got another 300 knockouts of other people coming before my next knockout, then I'm happy with that, You throw punches, you roll the dice, and it's going to happen eventually, and I just got caught slipping. That was my own fault. I didn't give him the respect he deserved, and I just kind of went marching forward, winging a left hook at him 3 or 4 times in a row, and it was my own fault.
Is there any concern that maybe you'll be a little hesitant or gun shy if he presses forward immediately because of that fight?
Nah, I don't have that in my vocabulary. I'm not that kind of person. Getting knocked out doesn't hurt. You don't remember anything about it, and getting submitted don't hurt either because you can just tap out if it gets too bad. But the problem for me, the thing that I don't like about losing a fight, about getting knocked out, is that my opponent thinks he's better than me, and I know that's not the case. You know what I mean? I know Carlos Condit's not better than me, and I'm annoyed that now he thinks that. I gave him that impression by not giving him the respect in the fight.
So is that safe to say that that's a guy that's on your list now that you're going to be working toward?
I can't retire until I've knocked him out.
Phil, talk about it, man. How do you feel right now this week? I mean, you're the man here, you know, headlining Spike TV. How's it feel in fight week?
It feels good. I'm really excited to be here. I like Seattle. The weather is great. It's a beautiful city. I can't wait to really see some more of the city before I leave.
You know, in the call the other day, you said that you and your camp wanted to make sure that this was the right fight. You know, you really considered it. What about it is the right fight? What was the kind of the deciding factors that led you to go ahead and take this fight on short notice?
Well, ultimately, what was the right fight is the fact that Joe Silva calls. When Joe Silva calls, you pick up the phone and you say yes to whatever he says. So that ultimately was the deciding factor. It was a little bit sooner than I wanted. So, you know, you gotta stop and assess where you are, how you feel, where you at in your training camp, how far you can, you know, coming along in your training. When I talked to my trainer, he says, bro, you're fine. You can fight next weekend. You know, you can fight this weekend is what he said. I had just got done doing working with my buddy Alexander Gustafsson for his training camp, and Alex is in such great shape that when you're helping him with his training camp, you also need to be in shape and ready to go 5 or 6 rounds with him. So, you know, I was just ready to go. You know, I was working hard every day with Alex, and you know, it was good timing to give me a couple days rest before I started the really hard part of my training camp, and you know, just you know, got it done.
You came to the UFC very early in your career. Now you're headlining very early in your career. And when you were starting out, did you envision it happening this fast, or do you feel like it's rushing along a little bit for you?
You know, I didn't expect to get 4 fights in last year, and that's really what it comes down to. I did 2 fights back-to-back, February and then April, and then I took a fight out of nowhere August 9th in Oakland, and that was really the fight that was. Other than that, I really planned on fighting in November against Tim Bosch, and that fight again against Rodney Wallace just kind of popped up out of nowhere. So yeah, it just kind of put me in a different standing over the course of the year, having 3 wins and 4 wins, and you know, I'm excited about where I'm at. And I like the opportunity, and I'm happy.
The fans are now like touting you as the next potential superstar, you know, a challenger for the belt here soon. How do you feel about that? I mean, does that excite you to think about those? I know you can't look past this fight at all, but does it excite you to think about those possibilities, or do you try to keep that down?
I don't think about that. I think about being good every day, and there's no way I can think that I'm going to be the best I can be until I stop getting beat up in training. You know what I mean? I get beat up in training by some really great guys, and I see it every day. I see the things that I need to correct. I see the places and the areas I need to improve. So it's no surprise to me that, you know, I need to improve in all these areas in order to be a champ like a Silva or GSP or the way BJ is, you know, or was. I'm sorry. You know, just dominate. You know, it's not just about getting there. It's about, you know, locking it down for a while. At least for me. I don't know.